Now, since our last ship update, we've had a couple of releases. We've definitely had a couple new learning opportunities with our existing ships. And we've got a monthly report now today. Can you please go away? That gives us a few updates on stuff in progress. So as always, thank you for joining. If you're just now showing up, we just did our monthly report review. We do it every month. It's posted on Space Tomato 2, but we also do it live here on the stream. If you enjoy those, consider popping in. You can ask questions. We get into some weird arguments and discussions. Jaybird's an old man. Today we're going to talk about what ships are coming to Star Citizen sometime soon, potentially far off, but what in general is being worked on. Starting in the UK. In the UK, the ship's team finalized and launched the Gattac, Raylan, and Tylenol. Tului. They then turned their attention to another Gray's Market ship, which was parked last year due to other priorities, beginning by ensuring nothing had degraded since it was last worked on. Interesting. So we had already heard about a Gray's ship, but considering, I think it sounds like they just brushed this off and got to work on it. It was parked last year, yeah. So this is probably not one of the recently unannounced ships we've been tracking here. So let's go ahead and add a new unannounced ship in. Unannounced. We don't know what phase it's in though. They didn't actually... It's parked last year, beginning by ensuring nothing had degraded since it was last worked on. No idea where that could be. Let's consider white box just to be safe. And this is possibly the Basher or whatever they had hinted at earlier. But then again, I feel like they would have been more confident about that if they were talking about it at that time. All right, so that's the first Gray ship. And we also got an update there on the Raylan here, which is released now. And the Tului. Further work was done for the Liberator, including integrating and repurposing numerous anvil kit pieces from recent ships, such as the Asgard and Paladin, which significantly reduces the amount of required new content. Chill. We got the Lib on here. Filthy Lib. It's good to hear that they're getting work done on it from the Paladin and the Asgard. This is probably a this year kind of delivery. I'm saying expected release March 2027 here, but I'm going to update this. I think this is more likely a November release now. I'm going to raise my confidence on that to medium. If they're getting a lot of work done on this and it is benefiting from some of the other people or some of the other ships that have already been done, I think it'll go quicker than we expect. Continuing on, more artists moved on to the RSI Galaxy. Following the release of the recent alien ships helping progress across all areas. This is the second most hyped ship to release this year. Hopefully it lands better than the first most hyped ship, the Ironclad. Did have a May update. Now it's got a June update. The May update did say it was continuing through its white box as various further revisions were made to the layout around the central dock and collar, halves, bridge, and lift area. So now they're just getting more artists on it, speeding up that work a little bit, getting us there by November. That's an important one. And that is absolute certainty that it is coming out November 2026 if you were tracking that one. 2 new ground vehicle variants progressed quickly down the pipeline. One successfully passed a combined white box and gray box gate review, while the other is rapidly approaching its white box gate review. That is, okay. Could that be the Grey Cat MFC by any chance? How could we possibly know? We're just gonna have to say ground vehicle number 1 and ground vehicle number 2 and keep an eye on these. Maybe it is the MFC. Expected release, I don't have one. We'll just throw September in there because why not? First mention is going to be July 1st. Most recent mention also July 1st. Confidence obviously low. For the other ground vehicle, we've got mostly the same stuff. Still a ground vehicle. Still don't know anything about it. It's a little bit further behind, so we'll throw it in there for like a November release. Similar note, they said for this one, the other is rapidly approaching its white box gate review, so it's still going to be a little ways away if that's all it's doing in June. But ground vehicles can also just sort of quickly progress. Like if you don't pay attention, they could start working on one month and finish it 2 months later. So it's possible that it's in. I think they actually There are 2 ground vehicle variants. So let's make sure to mention that they are variants. They must have different functions. Like maybe one does mining and one does combat, or one does cargo and one does salvage or something. We'll see. 4 unannounced ships progressed too. The first is a new fighter, passed its white box gate review and will continue to have its geometry refined as part of the gray box phase in preparation for November. Okay, so okay, cool. They're just telling us what that is. Let's see. So this would have been something that was recently in the white box. We've got 4 here. UK's ship says production on the 2nd kicked off with a small team starting work towards the white box gate planned for the middle of June. This could definitely be it. The other one was in combination with North America. I don't think that would be it. The 3rd is Gray's ship, and the 4th is that gray box, or that ground vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably the same one. We're going to pin this as its 2026 June update. We now know it is a fighter. We also know that it is having its geometry refined as part of the gray box. It's coming out in November, and that means our confidence gets to go extremely high on this one. I like that. Always cool to be able to get real confident about an unannounced ship. The 2nd unannounced ship from the UK is a new ship from a Jean manufacturer. Designed to fulfill a generalist role, entering pre-production. Wow. So this is our generalist, and they don't name the manufacturer. That's exciting. I wonder if it's a new manufacturer. So I don't believe we had picked anybody for a generalist. No, just the Drake Clipper was on there. So we've got a new unannounced ship, Gian. Yeah, entered pre-production. It is a new model, a generalist. That's so exciting. We don't have an expected release. I mean, it is this year, I think. I don't know when it would be. Maybe December. First mentioned on July 1st. Last updated on July 1st. And most recent note, June 2026. This is not a bad ship update. I like this ship update in the monthly report. It's given us quite a bit of confidence moving forward. The 3rd unannounced ship progressed towards its Lod 0 gate. As part of this, the team added detail across the hull and ensured the animated parts don't interfere with each other. So this is one of the fun ones. We don't really have any signs or anything that we can connect to an earlier report. Other than that, it's at its Lod 0 gate, which means it was in its gray box phase before. So gray box ships from last month, really it looks like we've got these 2. Another unannounced ship passed its white box review, with ships working alongside mocap to build out and make amendments to the in-game asset to suit the custom enter and exit animations. Animated parts, that's about as close as you can get. If it did have custom animations, it would have entered its gray box in May. That's a long time to be in gray box. Actually, Lod 0 review is different from gray box review. Interesting. So no, this would have had to have been something that was in Lod 0. But the only thing we have there is a North American ship. So I'm actually at a bit of a loss then. Where's the Stingray? Laying the groundwork for a 2nd new vehicle in March. The Stingray progressed towards its white box review, turning out to be quite complex in terms of animations and states, but the end result will be worth it. That actually might work. If this was the same ship, that doesn't sound out of place, those 2 notes. The team added details across the hull and ensured the animated parts don't interfere with each other. And in here it says this is turning out to be quite complex in terms of animations and states, but the end result will be worth it. Is that worth the gamble? I honestly, I don't have anywhere else to put it, so please say yes. I think I'm going to go with it. I like it. I like this for it. We can still consider maybe it's the Stingray. Yeah, it's progressing towards its Lod 0 gate, so it's in Lod 0 right now. And I do think that it's still going to come out this year. I'm going to put it at November. I feel good about that, I think. Finally, The fourth ship had its gray box gate review. Following this, adjustments were made to its components and weapon locations. The mocap team is currently preparing to tackle the complicated animations required for this ship. Oh, that's great. Let's just keep talking about complicated animations. All right, so this one had a gray box gate review. Could it be this one with the animations? This one literally had custom enter and exit animations. So you know what? We're just gonna, at this point, it's a little hopeless. Mocap team is currently preparing to tackle the complicated animations required for the ship. Well, exit and enter animations would be what's needed for a mocap team. So that actually also matches up quite well. Guys, we might be doing something right. Maybe. We don't really have any other information to put on it other than, did it pass its gray box review? It says it's had its gray box review. Did it pass it? No. Adjustments were made to the component and weapon location, so it's still in gray box. Okay. Finally, the North American team continued to move the Kraken toward its gray box gate review with a focus on utilizing the finalized Drake kit from the Ironclad. The initial lighting pass was done to set the tone across the ship. Amazing. Here we have it. The Kraken continues to get progress updates pretty regularly. This is a fountain that keeps flowing with information. It entered its first update in July of 2025, so we are now at 1 year of work that the Kraken has undergone. Expect it to take a little less than a year from now. Expected release is still Invictus Week or Drake Defense Con, whatever you want to call it, in 2027. That about wraps up everything that they've been working on in the last month. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ships got updates today. Of those 12, I would say at least like 5 I would expect to come still before the end of this year. So we still got plenty of ship releases and stuff planned for the rest of the year. They just got to get the game into a better position or else they're not going to sell very well. But, well, they'll always sell well. Just not as well as they probably want. But that's your update. That's your ship update for June. I hope you got the info you were looking for and had a good time doing it. Thanks for checking it out.